So I thought I'd show you the little chicks again. These are not the white ones. The white ones are Brahmas. We bought the Brahmas, but everybody else in this picture here, we incubated, and they all survived. I mean, I find that absolutely incredible. They're getting pretty big. I'll show you the adults over here, so you can see that, well, they're perfect. She showed up. I don't know about the scaling, but you can see they're getting big. Now these Brahmas, they were born at the same time. We bought them. That's those meat birds I've been telling you about. The roosters will get up to about 10 pounds. Whereas the adult chicken over there, she's probably 6 pounds. The Americanas are probably 4 pounds. So next year we'll have a much bigger, stockier bird breed next year. Now, of course, we'll go ahead and breed the rooster. Let's call him the rooster, I don't know for sure, with all the adults. So we'll still get a mix of chickens, but in the end, we'll also get, let's call her a female, we'll get female chickens also. Of course, we'll try our best to get all the Brahma eggs that we can, but you'll get a few that you just won't be able to identify. Obviously, the colored eggs we'll keep out. Americanas produce green eggs. So if we keep the green eggs out of it, then really the only thing we'll have is the bigger adults over here and the Brahmas. So they're growing a lot. That's our IBC tank. I showed you that in the past. The IBC tank we're using as a shelter for the littles here, but it's starting to get too small. So we're thinking about getting a second one. We're going to keep the females. We were going to butcher all these guys, but we're going to keep the females out of this batch here. That way we can get rid of the Buff Orpingtons, the one right in the center there. Hopefully I'm pointing to her correctly. The one scratching her head. We'll get rid of them because they struggle to produce enough eggs. When they're producing, they're doing great, but they don't produce during the winter. And when they go broody, they don't produce. And they go broody so much. Now these over here, they do really good winter and summer. They're New Hampshires. New Hampshires are the ones fighting right now. New Hampshires are great. They produce all year round. So that's giving us plenty of food. Yesterday we got 10 eggs. I think I eat 3 eggs a day. I think she eats 2 or 3 eggs a day. We give a portion of that to the cat. And then at supper, we'll have some meat product, whatever meat product we have available. So we're getting plenty of eggs. When we have too many eggs, what she does is she hard boils eggs. That way we can have them as a snack, because when we watch Netflix at night, we try to have a snack, and we can eat eggs as a snack. She also makes deviled eggs, and then we can have those as a side dish for whatever. So we eat lots of eggs. Of course, you know that we're carnivorous. We eat carnivorous diet. I would suspect that we're going to get a couple more chickens here laying eggs, because we had one chicken go broody, and she laid 2 chickens. I think it's those guys, those 2 right there. I think they're both females, and they're getting about the age now where they should be laying eggs. So that'll give us about 12 eggs a day. Now some days they don't produce as much. We've noticed that when it's a big thunderstorm, we don't get very many eggs, and when it's hot, I mean really hot, we don't get as many eggs. But then the very next day, even if it's hot, we tend to get a bunch of eggs. So it's like they take a day off just to relax a little bit, but then they all produce the next day. Strange, but we got plenty of eggs, which is good, because I've been telling you that they've been working on developing lab-grown meat out of a petri dish. Now I thought this was still, a few years away, but it turns out an article I read today, it's here now. I've got the whole article here, and I was going to read it to you, but I don't know. I don't like reading on camera, but not to mention I gotta wear my glasses. It says lab meat to hit U.S. grocery shelves by 2022. After quiet approval by the FDA and the USDA, both organizations. The approval came in 2018, before this president was in office. What it is, it's a laboratory in Israel. And so Tyson and one other company, Cargill or something. And so their plan is by the end of this year, 2022, they're gonna start sending this food, this grown meat, from laboratory to restaurants. So I think Tyson Foods, that's kind of concerning. One of my favorite foods at McDonald's, I haven't eaten McDonald's in years, but one of my favorite foods at McDonald's was chicken nuggets. Well, I had a chance to actually go to chicken nugget manufacturers, Tyson, when I was a consultant. I used to consult for laboratories that tested for salmonella and listeria and all that. I would go there about every 3 months. Well, at one point, I went to one of these laboratories. They invited me over to Tyson because they were testing Tyson foods. And they were producing chicken nuggets. Now I always thought chicken nuggets were just a hodgepodge of chicken guts and all that stuff. But it wasn't. It was actually white meat. They did the chicken breast and I don't know, but it was all the white meat. The legs and everything else was used for something else. And then we grind it up and pressed it, put it in with some flavoring and seasonings and different things, and it was real meat. It was just absolutely real meat. Well, now I can expect that to change. I would imagine that Tyson isn't going to run that manufacturer anymore. I would suspect that Tyson's going to buy this meat from this lab. So what they do is they get a scaffold, is what they call it, and the scaffold allows the meat to grow around it in a particular shape. So you'll get the same shapes that you get from chicken nuggets. This company is now in talks with the USDA and the FDA. They've already gotten approval, but now they have to figure out logistics and all that. Who's going to be responsible for the packaging? Who's responsible for the safety? You know, the FDA or USDA. My question is how do we even know this meat is safe? There's no way to know. Yeah, we can test it to see if it's got listeria and all that kind of stuff. But is there something else that we don't know about it? Has there been any studies done? You know, when they put a new drug on market, it's supposed to go through a rigorous process of testing and animal testing and all that. Well, I can't find anything that they've actually tested this stuff on. So we're just supposed to accept it. Now, we're going to McDonald's. Are we going to get homegrown meat? Now, I know somebody's going to say, oh, that's a big deal. What are you so concerned about? We got to do something to save this planet. Well, then fine, you can eat it. But what I don't like is it's all being done hush-hush. You got to find it from these obscure websites, and CNN brushes up on it a little bit. I mean, you can Google it. It's lab-grown meat. CNN talked about it. But most everything else is obscure news sources. So it's not being publicized. Why are they doing it in secret? Well, I know why they're doing it in secret. Because they know Americans are going to say, I'm not buying that. No, so they're going to just put it to us secretly, and we're just supposed to go buy our chicken nuggets and not even question what's in our food anymore. I mean, I remember a day when they were telling the McDonald's they had to put all the ingredients that they use in their foods. You know, they had to plaster it on the billboards and on the walls and the back of the labels on food products. Everything had to be labeled. What's in it? Well, now they're just hiding it. And the government is the one doing it. I'm not a big fan of this idea. I mean, I just can't imagine that I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to be looking through the packages of meat and think, well, is this fake meat or is this actually from a real animal? How do I know? You know, a lot of people say, oh, don't eat GMOs. Only eat grass-fed cows and all that stuff. So if we're complaining about GMOs and grass-fed and cows-fed imitation foods and all that kind of stuff, why are we so willing just to accept that we're going to eat lab-grown meat? Now, I heard somebody say in the comment section, I'll never eat it. I won't do it. I'll eat plant-based protein before I eat that. Well, how do you know? How do you know you're not already eating it? There's no way to know. You ever go to Subway and you get that little chicken patty, chicken breast or whatever they call that? It's got MSG in it, monosodium glutamate. So it's a pretty addictive thing, and it's not a good thing to eat. And so they put that in that chicken. Well, why are they putting that in that chicken? What else is in the chicken? How did they make the chicken? Why is it in this patty? Why can't I just have chicken? So there's a lot of questions I have about the food we already eat. And now they're going to feed us, by the end of this year, lab-grown meat. People are saying, I'm not going to eat it. But I don't know if you have a choice. Are you going to go to McDonald's and ask them specifically, is this lab-grown meat or did it come from a real chicken? I wonder how many people will actually do that. Well, Carolyn and I haven't been out to eat in 2 years, a long time. The only concern I have is now, what is at the grocery store? I don't know. And I may ask, I may start doing research. Who's buying this lab-grown meat? Who's buying from Future Meat Technologies is what it's called. And if they're selling lab-grown meat, I probably won't go. That's why what I'm saying is you got to start raising your own livestock. At least there you know what you're getting. A lot of people seem to think that I need to grow more than just chickens, but at least I can become an expert on chickens. I got it very secure. I got them happy. I know how many eggs I'm going to get. I know what I need to do to produce more eggs. I know what I need to do to produce more meat. I've got it all figured out. I know that I can grow my own food, sunflower seeds for the chickens, and they'll do fine. I can give them the weeds around here, so they got the protein from the sunflower seeds, they got the weeds for all their other vitamins, so they're getting everything they need. I can do it all self-sustaining, and I don't have to rely on companies lying to us. We know that they've done it in the past, and we know that this new environmental thing that they're really wanting to push out, they have to do it in secret. They can't tell us what they're doing because most of America doesn't buy it. They don't believe in it. They're like, wait a minute, slow down. You know, they tell us that cows are killing the planet and that eating vegetables is healthier for the animals. Less animals have to die. Well, then when you really look into it, just as many animals die from farms growing plants as cows are dying. Because when you clear a field, you kill the rabbits and the snakes and all the wildlife that was out there, you've killed it. So if you can click that super thanks button down there, I really appreciate it. So if I can inspire you to eat healthy so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.